NFL Hall of Fame legend Drew Pearson joins the show. Drew, appreciate it, sir. I appreciate you very much. Big fan.
Oh, you got it, guys. Thanks for having the original 88. You got the real one this time.
That's right.
Original.
That's
I love it.
Hey, I got to ask you right out the gate, how pissed were you that it took so damn long to get you with that jacket on?
Well, I was pissed, but you didn't know that, okay? Because that's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You can't let them know you're upset like that, you know?
No
you
doubt.
saw me when they were doing that centennial class, and they're trying to make up for some of the mistakes they said they made, and including us in one group. And I thought that was my time, you know? Yeah. Because I was a mistake, I thought. And I thought they wanted to correct that, you know? Because they always say the Hall always gets it right. Well, they do, but sometimes they wait a little too long to get it right. For instance, Steve McMichael, you know, going in as a Chicago Bear. How long did they wait for him? You know, now, you know, Chuck Halley from the Dallas Cowboys, the same thing. But anyway, I just waited my turn, and I was very patient about it. And one thing I tried not to do through the whole process of waiting is not to criticize the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Because if you do get in, guys, one day you're going to be in that Pro Football Hall of Fame luncheon, okay, on Enshrinement Week, where there's just Hall of Famers in that room over you being there, them being there over you. So, but I had to harder. Shut the door. Make it harder for the next guy. I'm in now. I don't care about the rest. Except Martin.
We losing them? Yeah. Drew, I think we're losing you. You hear us?
I'm in. I hear y'all.
There you go. I see you again. Okay. It was bad connection there for a minute. We heard you. We've had some Super Bowl. Is he there?
Yeah, here.
Yeah, you're freezing up a little bit on us.
I think he's freezing on us.
I'm here.
There you go. Can we pull him out and put him right back in or no? Bailey? You see us? Hopefully he can leave and rejoin. Man, Steve, Smitty, I was going to ask Steve. He there we go. You got you. Yep. We got you.
Technology. It could be me, man. I'm old school, you know.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. We've had a couple Hall of Famers on and on a show recently, and they're kind of same sentiment as you. Listen, you played at Tulsa. I was coaching in Kansas. I used to hang out in Tulsa damn near weekly. I fell in love with the little town. How was your time there, and what's your take on now? Are the programs like Tulsa kind of getting fed to the wolves with this NIL thing and the big fish eat little fish type of syndrome that's going on at Tulsa, a small stadium, small little town, having to play Oklahoma and those type of guys year in and year out and beat them out in recruiting? Can Tulsa get back to doing anything, or is this NIL era killing it?
No, Tulsa is in good shape. You know, I talked to the AD, athletic director there, quite a bit, and he tells me what they're dealing with, the nils and all that. And I said, how do you deal with that? Well, they got general managers now. They have scouting departments now. They scout players. They scout, you know, to bring in through the transfer portal and things like that. So it's a little different. But my experience at Tulsa, I come from South River, New Jersey. You know who my high school quarterback was?
Joe Theismann.
Joe Theismann, yeah. Well, actually, Joe Theismann, okay? It's really Joe Theismann back in South River. He went to Notre Dame, had a chance to win the Heisman Trophy. So he changed his name from Theismann to Theismann to rhyme with Heisman, okay? But you got to get that because he changed his name. It wasn't the Notre Dame PR department. It was Joey that changed it.
I didn't know that.
We just had him on the show. Like we just had Joe on the show. I wish I would have known.
Last week, I did not know that. I had no idea.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. We still talk to each other. We communicate with each other. And there's another guy. You look at his stats and look at his accomplishments with the Washington Redskins, and there's no doubt that he should be in consideration in the talk, in the mix for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
No doubt. Drew, Darnell here, Big Smitty, we call him here. He works at Fox with your guy and a legend in his own right, Michael Irvin. So he covers Michael every day at the set. And
sorry about that, bro. You got to deal with that. He's an 88. Put up with it. Come on.
That's my guy, the playmaker. And you mentioned, the great 88. You are the original. Let's talk about that. Like, what does it mean to wear 88 in a Dallas Cowboys uniform?
Well, now it has a legacy. It means a lot, and I always say if Jerry Jones could pick draft picks like he picks 88s, we'd be in the Super Bowl every year, okay? Because he hadn't gone wrong yet picking 88, okay? He didn't have to pick me. I already established it. But he picked Michael Irvin, all right? He picked Des Bryant, and he picked CeeDee Lamb. So now we got a legacy going. And I love it because there's no other team that treats a number like that, where there's a legacy in the NFL for a particular number. And a lot of people say, don't you wish it was retired? No, because every time you see CD out there doing his thing, you think of Des Bryant, you think of Michael Irvin, you think of Drew Pearson. So I like it the way it is, and let's keep the legacy going. Let's keep it going.
Let me ask you, I want to ask you about that. Deion Sanders just retired at Colorado. His son, Shador, and Travis Hunter, who's a two-way specialist extraordinaire. And we had a alum on just right before you, and he was like kind of upset about it because he was like, listen, man, there's guys like Darian Hagan and Cordell Stewart who won national titles there that don't have their numbers retired. And this is seeming a little quick right after the season to do this. Where are you at with legacies in retiring a jersey? As you just mentioned, an 88 jersey, if you retired that, there would be no Michael Irvin. There would be no, et cetera, et cetera. Des Bryant or whoever. Can you say that about college? I'm not in agreement with college numbers getting retired. I think you should put them in the rafters and retire the last name. I don't know about the jersey number. I think we're eliminating the future talent that comes down the pipe. But where are you at with this jersey thing?
Yeah, it's not necessary to honor numbers in college. Okay, come on, man, come on. Everybody wears a number. Everybody played in college. Everybody plays. Let's honor. Let's give some credibility to the honor. And in the pros, they don't even do it that much, but they do it. And even with the Dallas Cowboys, historically, they do not retire numbers. They don't retire Starbucks number. They don't retire 33 or 54. They don't retire 74, Bob Lilly. Those numbers aren't retired. It's just that nobody has enough nerve to wear those numbers and put those on with the pressure of wearing a number 12. Nobody wants that pressure. But Michael Irvin, he was different, okay? He's totally different. He embraced the pressure. He embraced whatever criticism or whatever popularity, whatever positivity that came out of being the next 88. He embraced that. But a lot of these guys don't want to embrace that, and they want to see their names in the number in the rafters and stuff. You know how big AT&T Stadium is. Yeah. If your number's way up there, ain't nobody going to see it up there. But they see it every Sunday when they go to a game out there on the field with CeeDee Lamb doing his thing, shaking and baking like the 88s used to do.
I love it. Well, let me ask you this. What does your Cowboys, what do they need to do to make it back to the promised land? It's been, over 30 years since they even been back to an NFC championship game, let alone a Super Bowl. What's the solution?
Yeah, I should know because I played in 7 NFC championship games in 11 seasons.
Talk about it.
7. So I should know what it takes. But it's personnel. We got to close that gap. You look where the Philadelphia Eagles are, right? You look where the Washington Redskins, Commodores, Commanders, whatever they are. You look where they are, okay? And we got Commodores. You like that one, huh? Yeah, Lionel Richie's playing quarterback. Zoom, zoom.
Yes. Zoom, zoom.
But you look where the Cowboys are in personnel. You look where these other two teams ahead of them. We ain't worrying about the Giants. They got a lot. They're worse off than we are, okay? Yeah. But you look where the teams that are ahead of us and what we got to do to close that gap. And a lot of it has to do with personnel, okay? You look at the Eagles. They're strong on offense. On defense, their players aren't talking about contracts, contract extensions, holding out a training camp. They're all in it. They're all in, You look at the Commodores with Dan Quinn. He's doing a great job up there, bringing in personnel. They just brought in Deebo Samuels to go with that offense already. That's already good. And that's what we got to do. We got to upgrade our football team, no doubt, but the real upgrade needs to come on the offensive side of the football. We need some weapons on the offensive side of the football. The last few years, we lost players, took players away from Dak Prescott. Okay. Cooper, Schultz, Pollard, Zach Martin just retired. We need personnel. And you got CeeDee Lamb out there doing his thing, 3 straight years of over 100 catches. But every time he catches a ball, because he's double covered, he's getting hit by 2 guys. If you're single covered, you get hit by one guy, the guy that's covering you usually. So we need somebody else on the other side to take some pressure off CeeDee Lamb. The guy I'm looking for the Cowboys to draft if he falls down to number 12 is Matthew Golden from the University of Texas. All right. This brother runs a 4.29. All right. Yeah. If you sign him up, give him number 22. You know who was number 22 that ran a 4.29? Bob Hayes. Okay. Give him Bob Hayes. All right. The world's fastest human. But we need that kind of weapon, that kind of speed on the outside. Matthew Golden in his career with the Texas Longhorns averaged 17 yards per catch. All right. That brother's getting downfield. Bob Hayes in his career, throughout his whole career, he averaged 20 yards per catch. Me and Tony Hill, we used to be in competition with each other, not on how many catches we made, but the yards per catch. Tony Hill finished his career with 16.8 yards per catch. I finished my career with 16 yards per catch. So you bring a guy like Matthew Golden in who was averaging 17 yards a catch, this guy could get downfield and make some plays. Even if you give him a short pass, he has the ability to shake and bait and turn a short gain into a long gain because of that speed. So the bottom line, guys, to answer your question is that we need to close that gap. And I think the best way to do it is with personnel. We did a pretty good job in free agency, finding bodies to replace some of the ones we left. But now we got to get some athletes, some game breakers, some playmakers. You got a $60 million a year quarterback with a bad hamstring. All right. We need to give him some weapons to take some pressure off him. Hut. Now you're getting me fired up. Am I sweating?
Hey. I see it a little bit. I like it. I like it.
Let me ask you something, Drew. And I got to ask you, here's what you're an unrestricted free agent, I believe, in 73.
Yes.
And a guy that makes it to Canton, what would your message be to guys, not only guys that are chasing this NIL bag in college? We've been debating on this. Like it's hurting the future of the game, in my opinion, because we're already chasing money in college. How great are we really aspiring to be at the NFL level to get a gold jacket like you? I wanted to ask you, like, what would you say the message would be to these youngsters and guys like Torrey Holt, who is in your shoes, a guy that thinks he should be in. A lot of people think he should be in and is being held out. We had his former coach, Mike Martz, on last week, and he's kind of upset about it as well and mentioned your name. And we're glad you're in. What would you be saying to these guys? The hungry guys or the guys that lack thereof, and the Torrey Holts of the world that aren't in the hall yet?
Well, first of all, Torrey Holt, you're going to get in. Just wait your turn, all right? Start preparing your speech, okay? Be ready when the time comes, all right? And stay in shape so you look good up there, because we wide receivers always got to look good, all right? But Torrey Holt's going to get his opportunity. And to the other guys coming through, just don't worry about the pros. Worry about having success where you are right now, because that success where you are right now might lead to your opportunities in the NFL. I played 4 years at Tulsa. We had 3 losing seasons. I had 3 head coaches, and we were on probation 3 of the 4 years. So you're in that negative environment and didn't let my athletic skills prosper. I played 2 years at quarterback and 2 years at wide receiver, so I was limited, and then the Tulsa, we didn't win nothing or anything like that. No scouts ever coming around. But when you get that opportunity, no matter how it comes, whether you're a number 1 draft choice on an unrestricted free agent, when they had 17 rounds of the draft, 452 players drafted that year, I'm almost over that. Okay. Okay. You can't dwell on the negative, guys. You got to move on. Okay. But,
No,
you just want that opportunity. All I wanted to do is get in the door. As an undrafted free agent, I could have signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Green Bay Packers, or the Dallas Cowboys. And not getting drafted after 17 rounds, I was disappointed. I was crying. I was hurt, But when those three teams, those storied franchises called me, they say, hey, I might have something, okay? Might have some abilities that they're interested in. So I wasn't going to Pittsburgh because Lynn Swann wanted to have a career in the NFL. So I let him have that 88 up there. He still sends me a check every month for that. Thank you, Lynn. Love that mailbox money. And I didn't sign with Green Bay because even though things didn't go well athletically at Tulsa, I got a great education there. And because of that, I was smart enough to realize that Green Bay was no place for this brother to be trying to catch passes in that cold weather.
Talk about it. I like this.
Hey, we didn't have no gloves back then either.
Right.
We're going to play in Green Bay like this,
Freeze and go. Right.
So I signed with the Dallas Cowboys, and a lot of it had to do with the man in charge there, Tom Landry. I wanted to play for Tom Landry. I figure if I can make it with him, I can make it anywhere. And even if I didn't, if I had any longevity in training camp, because I was with the Cowboys in training camp, I might get picked up if I did get cut. And guys, actually, I did get cut in the final cut down. The Cowboys released me, all right? The Chicago Bears claimed me. The Cowboys had 24 hours to reclaim me. And I'm still thanking the Lord. Still thanking him for reclaiming me in that situation. Because I went from Roger Staubach, okay? I could have been with Bobby Douglas, all right? Bob Avellini, all right? Oh, come on, man. Roger Staubach can make Stevie Wonder a Hall of Famer, okay? All right, let's put it like that, okay? So I was blessed, even though I did get cut. But anyway, for the young guys, just continue to do what you got to do in the situation you're in and hope they find, you hope you get the opportunity to move on to the next level. And if it doesn't come through the draft, just get in the door. Get in the door because that might be your path. That might be the way the Lord is putting you on a path to get to where you want to go. So don't contest the path, embrace the path, and enjoy the path and the process, and you'll come out on top in the end.
Hood. Last thing I got for you, Drew. I can't thank you enough, man. You're great. Let me ask you something. What do you think about this Schottenheimer hire? And the guy that has no previous head coach, I know his dad has a bunch of wealth of knowledge and experience and success. The youngster now, other than having been the coordinator, I guess, and that direct correlation with Dak, hasn't been really that guy. This has kind of been Jerry Jones's trend. Where are you at with this hire?
Well, the best thing about it is consistency. Dak needs a little consistency. I don't know how many coordinators he's had in his 9-year career, with the Cowboys. They keep changing, but a little consistency. But I'm concerned about accountability, all right? This is the same voice in that locker room that was watching these guys make the same mistakes week in and week out, and not correcting those mistakes, I think we need somebody in there that's forceful. For instance, look with Dan Campbell. He's a great coach and everything, but his personality, the way he brings it, he turned that whole franchise around. I used to couldn't wait till we played Detroit, even though the great Len Barney was still there, okay? Because Detroit, you knew you were going to get a victory, because they weren't into it like they are right now. And it was Dan Campbell that came in and changed the whole culture. And that's what we needed, somebody to come in and change the culture. We didn't need somebody to come in and have the status quo. We needed somebody to put some fear into some of these guys, some of these high-priced athletes that with no competition behind them, put some fear into them and have them accountable for their performances and their preparation and everything else week in and week out.
So what you saying, Drew? What you saying, Drew? Okay, there we go. So that's what I'm saying. So you don't know if you're getting that with Schottenheimer.
He's got to prove that he's that kind of coach. What Coach Landry brought more than anything, his knowledge of football was great, and we appreciate that. I could draw up X's and O's right now and become an offensive coordinator in the National Football League from what I've learned from Tom Landry. But what Tom Landry brought more than anything was discipline. And we were afraid to mess up. We were afraid not to be accountable, not only to him, but our teammates as well. When we watch the films and we critique each and every game, we watch the films together. The offense watched the defense watched the offense, everybody watched special teams because he wanted everybody to be accountable. If I missed the block that stopped Tony Dorsett from going the distance, everybody's going to see that. When I leave that meeting, I'm a little embarrassed that I did that. So I can't wait to practice. I can't wait to the next game. And we don't have that, I think, with the Dallas Cowboys. If Schottenheimer can bring that, then I'm all for it. But if
Smitty,
he can't, then we're going to just be the status quo and do the same things and have the same mistakes and the same performances that we've been having. And those performances that we've been having, guys, is not good enough to get us to the next level, which is the playoffs, and have some success in the playoffs.
I think even Emmitt Smith has come out and reiterated what you just said before on some other shows. I gotta, since you mentioned that as a former coach, I just gotta ask you, like, when you see a Micah Parsons as uber talented as he is, and he I'm not gonna say he focuses, but these young kids, a lot of them, not just Micah Parsons, are doing their own podcasts and shows during the season. What's your take on that? When you just talked about watching film together as a team and as a position group and wideouts all watch together against the DB. Where are you at now with this new age guys going out and doing shows and then talking about the opponents and shit like that right after the game or before the next team they play? Where are you at with that as far as this focus and accountability?
Well, that's a new age, phone, telephone. This would have drove Coach Landry crazy. Podcast, we would have been restricted. No podcasts, no cell phones. He would have shut it all down. All right. Yeah. Leave that stuff out the door and not bring it into the locker room. And that's what these guys need to do. Leave that stuff out the door. Don't bring that into the locker room. Whatever you do, whatever we did, we had a lot of success because we played hard. But guess what, guys? We partied hard, too. Oh, man. We didn't miss a beat, But when we hit that locker room, we left it out there. We didn't bring it inside.
Y'all partying.
This is a whole different world in the locker room, This sport is tough. It's physical. It's demanding, It could injure you. You can, be hurt for the rest of your life playing this game. Mm-hmm. So leave all that fluff stuff out of the locker room, and don't bring that into the locker room. When DeMarcus Lawrence left, he mentioned that, he saw that most of the guys weren't committed to winning, Listen to his message. Don't kill the messenger. Listen to what he was saying, Again, that's about discipline, all right? We don't need a podcast. Do that later. You're making all this money. Why do you care about who? Hey, don't get me started. All right. I made my first year. I made $14,500 when I signed that contract with the Cowboys. My signing here's the chronological rundown of signing bonuses for the 88s. Okay, we'll start with CD Lamb. All right, his signing bonus was $38 million.
All right.
What? If I had $38 million, I'd make you a millionaire, Coach. I'm waiting. Where you turn? I got more coming next year. All right.
Yeah.
These were 38. Des Bryant's was $14 million, his signing bonus. Michael Irvin's was $10 million, his signing bonus. My signing bonus was $150. Yeah, $150.
With inflation, though, $150. That's probably like $2,000 today.
Oh no, homeboy.
Yeah. Check him. Check his ass, Drew.
Then, and it's no money now.
Hell yeah.
My signing bonus paid in cash. I got 7 20s and a 10. That's how I got my signing bonus.
And a 10.
And I was broke before I got back to the college apartment because my car ate up all the gas and I had to buy gas. Anyway. But it's different now. It's different. All these guys, don't worry about your podcast and all that stuff.
Oh, Drew.
Try to create longevity and not just get one of those contracts. Get 2 or 3 of those contracts. Look at Kevin Garnett in basketball. How many contracts did this brother get? During his time. He started out out of high school, right? and finished when he's 30-something years old. You know, this guy's a millionaire, billionaire and stuff probably by now. You know, so don't worry about getting one contract. Let that parlay into 1 or 2 or 3 more of those contracts. But the only way to do that is have longevity in the NFL, in the NFL. And I don't know, you know, that's, you guys know as well as I do, that's pretty hard to get. And it's a lot of it is luck, and a lot of it is through the blessings of the good Lord. Good.
Man, hold on. Drew, I can't thank you enough. I can listen to you talk for hours and hours, man. I can't thank you enough,
for
brother.
a small fee, I'll do it. Hold up.
Hold on. Hey,
little signing bonus.
Hey, we're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to talk. I want to top that damn signing bonus and get you back on here, man. I can't thank you enough, brother. You're a legend, and I appreciate you. Everything. Hope you everything. Wish you good health, to family, and everything else, man. I hope to have you on again soon.
Great stuff. Thanks, Coach JB and you guys. Big Smitty.
The original 88.
Original 88.
Rings?
I see him.
Lord of the Rings, baby.
Uh-huh.
Legend.
God bless, guys. Be safe.
God bless.